So in the earlier video, I showed you how to type in usual text, and the whole idea of learning the system is in how we're going to type in mathematical symbols. So this is going to be example 3 tag again. So we have this much of the preamble where we declare the document class, and we load some packages so that we can use mathematical symbols, and font and graphic elements is loaded here. So the first sentences we're going to type is the following. Right, so this part is just a plain text, just like hello world part. And next part is the sentences that starts here and ends at that part. Although we changed the line in here, it's just to use the space, and in the actual file it's going to be just connected as a single sentence, and if there's more space in the line it's going to continue it here. If you want a separation or special different shapes of a structure, you have to use appropriate command to do that. If you just hit enter here, separated line, it doesn't mean it's going to show as a separated line, you will see. Now the sentence continues, and in the part of the sentence when you have to use mathematics, we have to start with this dollar symbol, and then when the mathematical symbol ends, it ends with a dollar symbol. This is how the mathematics is embedded into a usual sentences. They call it a text style mathematics. As you can see, there are backslashes. These are how the LaTeX command starts. So this sign this part will generate the sign function in mathematics, and this backslash pi will be pi, the transcendental number, and this is an exponent in 34, and this, if there's a braces like this, the 34 will show up as a part of the superscript. If you just don't have this, the parentheses around it, the pi to the third and the times 4 outside, that's what's going to show up. And if there is one symbol like this pi, you don't have to put the parentheses around it to make it into a power. So this 34 raised to pi-th power, and negative cosine, and the end of the dollar symbol. So I want you to type this thing in and try yourself and how it looks like. I forgot to mention that to type all these symbols, you need to know how what those commands are, and in our course website somewhere we will have this file, the LaTeX symbol. So it has a nice collection of all the commands that for the mathematical symbols there. So use that file to figure out what is the command for the symbol you want. So I hope you got through this correctly and got some result. So I'm going to type in more stuff underneath it here. So I added this part, and let me explain. Again, this part is just a sentence, and there's a backslash. So this from here, some command is going on. So begin center and end center is the structure. So everything in between begin center and end center will show up as a centered element in the document. So it doesn't start from the left. It's going to be the center of the document. Begin center and end center. And in it, the first thing we do is again the command backslash large. It says from here, the text that's going to show up is going to be larger than the usual, a little bit larger. So here's a usual sentence. There's no backslashes, but there's a 2 backslashes. It means we're going to change the line here. For example, if I click in here, if I hit enter, in this file we change the line, but in actual, after you compile it, it's going to just continue as a one and single, in the same line. And you have to use this command to let LaTeX know that you want to change the line. It's actually very convenient. It seems like that it's kind of annoying, but once you get used to it, it's actually very nice way of handling long sentences. So this is easier for me to see, so I went back to that previous situation. And after that, in the new line, we're going back to the normal size. That's what this command is. And then we type sentences and change the line again. It's not quite showing, so I'm hitting it here. So the document is still in the same line. Now here do we change the line. And from here we're going to make it small. That's what this command is. So this one will appear as very smaller than the usual sign, and change the line again. and this is even smaller, so there's all this command that you can learn from that file. This is called footnote size, and there's a tiny size, and all these usual sentences and everyday language sentences will show up in a different sizes. So I either cut it here so that you can see what's in the rest of the part. So if you run this one, and these few lines will show up in all different sizes.